Hello, and welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to be taking one last look at Season 13 in Fortnite. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it just alright? Well, by looking at all the elements of this season, we should be able to find out. So, let's get into the video. Season 13, otherwise known as Chapter 2 Season 3, started after a couple of delays on June 17, 2020. Things were looking up for this season. It saw an event just happening days before, the first time this had happened since the transition between Season 10 and 11, well over 6 months ago. So, what did this new season have to offer that previous seasons hadn't? Well, there were a couple of things. Firstly, all of the unbalanced mythics from Season 12 had been vaulted, and had been replaced by 6 new mythics. At the Authority, previously known as the Agency, Jules took refuge and offered the drum gun and grappler to those who were able to take her down. At first, this seemed overpowered. The drum gun and grappler had been two of the most powerful items from last season. Epic thought ahead, however, and the drum gun got a significant nerf, along with the grappler getting much more range in exchange for vulnerability when you use it. The Authority didn't see as many people dropping there as its predecessor, the Agency. In the lower left hand of the map, we saw the Fortilla. Ocean was the boss there, and she had control of a mythic burst assault rifle and a recharging chug jug, the latter finally seeing the light of day after a long period of being vaulted. The burst had seen a bit of a nerf/buff over the last season, decreasing its fire rate, but also increasing its damage. Unfortunately, the assault rifle still ran the meta, but you could easily die to Ocean's burst in 4 shots, making it a nice item to have in your inventory. And finally, replacing the box factory, we have Caddy Corner, perhaps the most popular new location added. It was home to Kit, a younger version of Meowscles. Kit had control of a robot army, mythic charged shotgun, and shockwave launcher. The charged shotgun replaced the pump shotgun this season, and boy, could it deal damage. With a fully charged shot, even with a gray charge, you could do 80 damage in 1 shot. Kit's charge was no exception, having the ability to one-shot if you headshot. It was paired with the best movement item in the game, the shockwave launcher. It acted much like the shockwave grenade, except you shot them from a cannon. It could break builds, yeet people into the storm, and do so much more. All it was used was rockets, and rockets became a bit more common, so you mostly never had to worry about ammo for it. Overall, I think this is the best mythic pairing in the game. But new mythics weren't the only thing added this season. In the event I brought up earlier, Midas completely flooded the island, rendering about half the island underwater. Many locations like Weeping Woods, Salty Springs, and many more were underwater for many weeks. Some got little floaties like Sweaty Sands and Pleasant Park, keeping them above water. It was honestly pretty cool, seeing locations in a whole new light. However, each week the water level kept receding, giving us our old locations back, until we have finally reached today, where everything is now back above water. I wish they had kept the water a bit longer, but it personally didn't ruin my day when Pleasant Park was back above water. I think the flood idea was super cool and it was implemented really well. Definitely the best idea Epic has had over the last 3 seasons. However, I feel like I'm missing something. Like something I've put out of my mind. Oh, right. Marauders. The most annoying things added to Fortnite. Marauders came in a group of 5s and tried to kill whoever they saw. You had 3 or 4 people, it wasn't usually too bad. But when you were outnumbered by more than 2, you knew you were going to have a bad time. The Deadeye Marauder had aimbot, the Heavy had too much health, and the Assault ones had less aimbot, but sprayed until they ran out of ammo, burning your builds. If you defeated them, you got access to rocket launchers and stink bombs. They also had meds, but usually you would use them to heal the damage you just took, not add to your med supplies. Unless you were looking for them specifically, these things were annoying to deal with, coming off as more of a hindrance than help. I liked the concept, but they were too overpowered, and nobody wanted to run into them. Cars were also added about halfway through the season, giving players more movement, and they were actually pretty fairly balanced. Each car had its own disadvantages and advantages, and they're pretty fun to mess around with. It was banned competitive for obvious reasons, but nevertheless, I think everyone enjoyed cars quite a bit. I'm hoping they don't get vaulted next season. And that's about it for this season. Overall, it wasn't bad. On one hand, they really didn't add anything too bad besides Marauders, but on the other hand, they didn't really add anything great over the course of the season besides cars. No new weapons, items, or really anything. Even if they added just one thing, it would have been better than nothing. I definitely think the season was leagues better than any other season in Chapter 2, and hopefully they can build on this momentum. They won a huge upper hand in the Apple versus Epic battle. This next season needs to be awesome, and hopefully it is. But hey, what are your thoughts on the season? Leave them in the comments below.